let's do the same thing that we just did, but let's use a different outcome this time, and let's walk through it just to make sure that everybody's on board. Let's go analyze, regression, linear, and for our outcome this time, let's do taste. We've been doing hunger, right? So let's go taste. Let's go centered positive mood. Sham by positive mood, treatment by positive mood. Oh, we need to have sham and treatment in here. I'm going to move these around a little bit. Whoops. So that I have. All right, positive mood, sham, treatment, sham, positive mood. Okay. And we hit run. All right. So what is our outcome variable here? Taste. It's how good something tastes. In this case, apparently. All right. What is, and so in our model, we have positive mood. We have a dummy-coded sham, a dummy-coded treatment, sham by positive mood, treatment by positive mood, which makes the constant in this case what? Mean of taste for the control group. Good. Everybody understand that? Perfect. Positive mood here is what? Perfect. The slope between positive mood and taste for the control group. Those two things are both the effects in the control group. What is sham? What does this indicate? What does that slope mean?
That the sham group is different from the control group on taste.
Perfect. And how are they different?
The sham group has more taste.
Significantly higher taste, or at least they rate the taste of whatever they're eating as significantly higher, significantly better, right? What does this mean?
That those in the treatment group rate taste significantly higher than control.
Perfect. Those in the treatment group also rate taste significantly higher than the control group. So for some reason, this intervention is making things taste better, which is interesting. What does this indicate?
That the correlation between positive mood and taste significantly differs when you move from control to sham.
Perfect. When you move from control to sham, the relationship between positive mood and taste is significantly different. And just based on this, what is the relationship between positive mood and taste in the sham group? Yeah, it's effectively 0, right? How do we come up with that number?
Adding the interaction to the, oh,
Yeah, you're right. Add the interaction to the main effect of positive mood, right? Perfect. That's exactly right. And this.
I just have a question though. When we're stating that the correlation between positive mood and taste, can we, at the end of that sentence, do we report the beta?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep, that's exactly right.
Correlation will be the standardized coefficients or unstandardized coefficients?
I would use unstandardized just because you're talking about it allows you to utilize the true means if you're using unstandardized. And so I would also not call it a correlation. I would say the slope because it's unstandardized. Yep. What's this last effect tell us? This interaction effect says what? Rebecca.
The slope between positive mood and taste is different between treatment and control.
Perfect. And what is that slope in the treatment condition?
So that would be negative 0.959 plus 1.4.
Why 1.4?
1.1.
Why 1. Oh yeah, you're right. I'm sorry. 1.1. 1.1. Yes. Right. So again, like effectively 0. So 1.1 minus 0.959, right? It'll be very, very close to 0. And if you had to guess, we're going to go through here in a second and we're going to pluck out one of these, right? So that we can actually test the difference between sham and treatment. But just looking at that right there, do you think that there's going to be a significant difference between sham and treatment? Mark says no. Why do you say no, Mark?
Well, at least not on their impact on the relationship between positive mood and taste.
Good.
I think there could be a significant difference between how they rate taste. I would predict that the treatment group will still rate it significantly higher than the sham group.
Okay. And you base that off of what?
Well, between the standard error and the other differences that are significant.
Yeah, right. Like those main effects. That's a big. You can look right there and see that the difference is about 1.6 with a standard error of 0.08. So yeah, you can rest assured that there's going to be a difference in means, right? However, how did you determine that there probably won't be a difference in slopes?
For positive mood.
Yeah.
Because those are very close together.
They're very, very similar, right?
Yeah.
And in fact, you can tell from this right here what that interaction effect is going to be. What's it going to be? Jigs, what's it going to be? Yeah, 0.01 or 0.019 or something like that, right? Or 0.018, something like that. Or maybe 0.022. My math is not great, but it's going to be the difference between these two slopes, right? Let's do it. Let's check it out. Analyze, regression, linear. Does everybody understand how we did that? How we came to all of those conclusions? And so we're going to pull out sham, and we're going to pull out the interaction with sham, and we are going to add in control, and then move that up 1. And then we are going to add in control by positive mood, right? Everybody tracking? All right, we hit go. Our R squared, right, should never change, 0.894. If we scroll up here, still 0.894, right? this is the same model. It's always the same model. All we're doing is moving things around to look at the differences within each condition. All right. What does this tell us? What is this constant? What is it now? The mean of taste for what? For sham. And what does this tell us? This slope right here. Yep, the slope of positive mood predicting taste in the sham group. What does this tell us? Those in the treatment group rate taste significantly higher than those in the sham group. Mark was right, right? That was his guess. He thought that we would see this. What does this tell us? Significantly lower, yep, in the control group. What does this tell us?
It's not significant.
Yep, what's not significant?
The difference between treatment and like so treatment and sham, it doesn't matter what group you're in. Really.
Okay, it doesn't matter for what. You're right. No, you're absolutely right. What is this actually telling us?
The relationship between positive mood and taste.
Perfect. The relationship between positive mood and taste it only varies by 0.019. It's not significantly different. So positive mood and taste is basically the same between the treatment group and the sham group, right? What about this? That's a number that we've already seen before, 0.977, though we saw negative 0.977. What does it mean here?
Difference in the main effect of positive mood on taste when you go from the sham group to control.
Perfect. Very, very good, right? All right. We have gotten everything that we need except for one last thing, right? What's that one last thing that we need to get? Yeah, the relationship between positive mood and the treatment group, right? So let's go analyze, regression, linear, and let's remove treatment and remove treatment by positive mood. Then we need to add in sham and sham by positive mood, right? We hit go. All of these numbers are numbers that we've seen before, at least in terms of absolute values, right? The only thing that we haven't seen before in here is what? Well, this top one, I guess, we haven't seen before, right? What is that? What is that top number? The intercept is what? Yep, the mean of taste for the treatment group. And what is this number?
The main effect of positive mood on taste in the treatment group.
Perfect. That is it. Does everybody understand how we got all of those values? All right. We have one last thing to do here, right? We have got to graph this out. So let's use this one as a graph because this will be interesting because we also have differences in intercepts, not just in slopes, right? So how do we graph it out? What are we going to do? What do we need to open to graph?
Excel.
Yeah, let's open Excel. All right. And so in Excel, we have three different groups, right? So let's go control, sham, treatment. And what goes here?
Range of it.
Range of x, and x is what? What's x in this case? Positive mood. You bet.
Could you maybe like flip the lights so we can, like this one would be off?
Oh, do I have them wrong? I do have them wrong. I'm sorry.
Oh,
Is that better?
yeah.
All right. If I can increase the size of the Excel sheet, I'm pretty sure I can do that. View. Let's zoom. Do we need it more? Is that good? Okay, perfect. All right. So is there anything else that we need here in order to calculate these out. The dependent variable, we actually don't need to even plug that in here anywhere, right? So the nice thing about doing categorical stuff is all we are really interested in is a slope in a group and the intercept in that group, right? So this becomes a very, very simple equation. Does somebody want to find out what our range of positive mood is for me? How do we find that out? Say that again. Okay, that sounds like the uncentered.
-0.86 to 1.87.
Okay, so let's go -1 to 2. -1 equals this plus 0.25, and then just drag this down a little bit. Okay, does that make sense how I did that? Now, we can do this full regression equation, right? But for each group, this will get canceled out, this will get canceled out, this will just be an effect on this will just be an effect on this, and I'd like to make things simpler, not more complicated. So we can actually make just 3 different regression equations, right? We can do in group 1, y equals I plus bx. And we can specifically pull the I and the b from our regression model, right? Group 2, y equals I, let's call that I1, let's call this I2, b2 times x, and group 3 equals y, I3 plus b3x. And so we'll make 3 different regression equations that are just very simple equations, okay? Because we're just plotting within a group. So all we're interested in for that group is the intercept and the correlation, right? So for our control group, we're going to have equals, what was our intercept for our control group? Anybody see it? 0.975, perfect. 0.975 plus, we need to add in now our correlation for our control group, which is what? .10, perfect. 1.1 times what? Times what, Manny? Range in positive mood. Let's click in positive mood. Let's end it, but let's come back to positive mood here, and let's put a $sign right in front of the D. Why do we put it in front of the D and nowhere else? Say that again.
It locks column D.
It locks column D, and then we can grab it just like such, pull it down, and that is going to be our line for our control group. How do we get our line for our sham group and our treatment group? Yep, use a different regression equation. I'm just going to grab this and pull it over for sham. And then I know that I have to replace my intercept and my slope, right? So let's have a look at our intercept and our slope here. The intercept is 3.272 in sham, and the slope is 0.123. .123 and 3 point, what was it? 272? Is that right? Okay. Got that done. We can just grab that and pull it down. And what's our last step? Yep, we're going to put in our intercept and our slope for our treatment group. So let's scroll down here. We have 4.78 and 0.141. .78 and 0.141, and then just pull that down. All right, we have our 3 lines. I'm actually going to change this one. This is minus 0.75, you know, or minus 1. But since it's outside of the range, let's just change it to minus 0.75. And then I'm going to delete these here. So we're going minus 0.75 to 2. So I know 2 is still outside of the range. I'm just doing this so that we don't have a negative value in there on our graph, which makes it complicated. Okay, what's the next thing that we need to do? Plot it. And how do we plot it? Huh? Let's go insert. Line graph. It gives us just this plain old ugly looking box, right? Are we all tracking so far? Okay. And then we can go select data, right? You have to right click on it, select data. We're going to add a new line. So just click the plus sign, series. And our values for this new line are this. That's our control group. Our name for this new line is right there, control. And for this horizontal category, let's use our positive mood group, or our positive mood. Okay. Has everybody got this so far? Who is not there yet? We're almost there though. For those of you who are there, you can go ahead and add your next 2 groups as well if you want. Hit control, name is sham, Y values are right here. And we can add our third one, name is treatment, and our Y values are right here. Are we all caught up? Who is not? Rebecca, we good to go? Perfect. Kelly, we good over there? Awesome. Who has a graph that looks like that? All right. So what we see is this difference in intercepts right here, right? And the differences in slopes. And you can see that we have a a very interesting slope for this group here. And no, I mean, these slopes obviously look very different from this one, right? But they don't look that different from each other. And that's consistent with the data that we had as well, right? And so I mean, you can go through and you can toy with this and make this look very nice, like scientific quality type of graph. Or you can leave it like this, looking really ugly.
No preference?
Oh, I definitely have a preference. Who's caught on to the fact that I am a kind of a figure Nazi? I love good figures, right? I hate atrocious figures. And in fact, some of you in your homework, I will straight up say like, this figure is atrocious, or my favorite word is gross. This figure is gross. Some of you have gotten that comment, yeah. So, like this figure here, if somebody like turned in that figure, I would say that figure is gross, but it's right? Like, so, and that is it. That's how we plot these different slopes. Let's go back. Let's plot a new slope using, what is our dependent variable here? Say it again. Taste. Let's swap out our dependent variable and let's redo this with hunger as our dependent variable and see what those slopes look like. Remember, with hunger, did we have any differences in intercepts? No, there was no intercept differences, but there were differences in slopes, right? Let's check that out. So let's go analyze, regression, linear, take out taste, put in hunger, hit go. What is my group here that I'm going to be monkeying with? It's a treatment group, right? So all I'm worried about is 0.75 and 0.047. Let's go to our treatment group. 0.75, 047, hit enter. Grab that and pull it down so we have a straight line. I'm just going to do this. You guys do it too, and then we will compare notes once everybody's done. I love to hear all that clicking. we there? Who is not there yet? Sarah? Anyone else? Who has a graph that does not look like that up there? Mark, you good? Sam? Rebecca?
I'm as close, but I'm not sure if it's the same.
Daniel? Good. Ashley? You good? Okay. Manny, how we doing back there? Working? Haley? Still working. Jigs, how we doing? Almost. Your gray one is off. Is my gray one off? No? Looks right. You guys keep working. I'm gonna run to the bathroom real quick. Great, now that's on my
Right, so when treatment's out of the office, this one in. That's fine. That's why I said.
I know. Nope, I don't. Oh, on this one, on all of them? What's your thing?
Yeah, it's 0.2.
No, what did you want?
Yeah, I have 0.843 plus 0.622.
Oh, I know, because I didn't delete the one, the other one.
So you have to.
Oh, there you go. Thanks, Cal.
Well, you have the yeah, I have 0.752. 75, 1. Carry 1, 0.
We're trying.
Yeah. Way down.
We all good? Everybody looks like this? All right. Okay, so I was going to do one other thing today, but I think that I think that this is enough for the day. This seems like it was quite a bit. Combining the stuff from what we learned last week to the stuff that to the stuff that we have learned this week. What is the kind of take-home message when it comes to categorical variables within the context of regression? It is twofold. One, the main effect of a categorical variable is really the effect on the mean or the differences in the mean. And the interaction effect between a categorical variable and a slope is the differences on the slope, right? The differences between slopes and within each category or group. They work exactly the same way, which is that you add either to the intercept for a main effect or to the slope for an interaction effect, right? And an interaction effect with groups is really just the main effect of that group on a correlation versus the main effect of that group on an intercept, right? Make sense? What questions do you guys have?
In terms of the write-up for the tables,
Yeah.
would we show each of those, like, no?
You only ever need to show one thing in that table, right? You can go through and calculate all of the different slopes and all of the different intercepts from a table. You can't necessarily get the tests of those slopes and those intercepts. I put those in the text.
Okay.
So I would say, like, the primary analysis is depicted in table 1. There was a significant difference between the treatment and control, and then I would put slope p-value, and between the sham and control, and I would put slope p-value, but not between the sham and treatment slope p-value. In addition, there was a positive association between positive mood and taste in the control group. However, these relationships, this relationship varied or was significantly different in both the treatment group interaction, BP, and in the sham group, slope, p-value, right? And then say in the treatment group, the relationship between positive mood and taste was this, slope, p-value, while in the sham group, the relationship was this, slope, p-value. And if you hadn't already said it, in the control group, the relationship was this, slope, p-value, right? So you provide all of that information, but you only really need to provide a table for a single regression analysis. You can go through and figure out the stuff from it outside of that. So I throw that stuff into the text for them only because they need that p-value or that standard error if you want. Theoretically or technically, you can go through and calculate that stuff. If you were to have both a table that has the pooled standard deviation, then you wouldn't need to go through and redo all of that stuff anyway. And oftentimes that's what you get with a table 1, right? Your correlation table, you have correlations, means, and standard deviations, right? And then you can figure out everything based on that. All right, are there any other questions, concerns, problems, comments? Just a note on APA style, if you were to try and put this into APA style, I would do something like this. Would make this a solid line that is black, and that is the control, right? Yeah. Then for sham, I would do solid line black, and then I would do some sort of a dash like this. And for treatment, I would do solid line, again, black, and then I might do some sort of dash like this. And so that would be an APA style graph. Although this should technically be number, or is it labels?
Are you trying to change the time to 11?
No, I'm trying to change this to 2 decimal places, yeah. And this is already in 2 decimal places, so it's fine. Although I might put some tick marks here. Something like that. Same with this one, I might add some tick marks. And then, oh, boy, that's weird. One of those got really bold and one didn't. Oh, and these numbers aren't actually in quite right, are they? Let's go back to this. Oops. Why is that? Yeah? There we go. Tick marks. Number. This should be number, and it should be 2. There we go. Why isn't that line darker? Anybody know? It doesn't matter. I'm not a huge fan of these. I would dump those. I like to throw this in my chart like such. And then you can either have a title or not. I might do something like this. Move this up. And then go chart design, add chart element, and then add your titles here. So this should be mean centered positive mood, and chart element what was this one again? This was hunger? Hunger. Something like that. Although this line is bugging me now. Why is that line? What is going on with that line? Oh. At category 0. What's that? Vertical. Oh, is that it? So, what am I doing wrong here? Up here? This thing? Where at? Where do I go somewhere in here? No, that's not. Oh, right here. There we go. Solid line. Aha. Ta-da. And that looks like a fairly decent APA style figure. What's that?
You're smiling when it's so.
Yeah, it's very satisfying. So Something along those lines. All right. Oh, and I might also, just because of who I would probably do something like, yeah, Times. I like Times New Roman. Make this guy bigger. I'm just being obnoxious, but there we go. That looks nice, doesn't it? Yeah, that looks like it could go in a paper if this was real data or something. But anyway, all right. So I will try and get your homework up for you guys as soon as possible, and I will do my damnedest to get your guys' exams graded and back to you over the weekend. So, any questions for me? No? Oh, and all of that got recorded too, I believe. So wonderful.